Hi everyone, Zoe Tryon is my guest today. I imagine surrounded by a lot of travel books. Zoe is an environmental justice campaigner, and one of the most impressive and I think valuable jobs that she's doing is raising the value of natural life, the value of the life of Mother Earth, in the same, to be in the same order as a human life. And she campaigns and supports a company called Ecocide, for which she was talking on the panel at Medicine Festival recently. She's also, which I think is really powerful, actually protecting the HQ of the Amazon River in Ecuador, which is one of her projects. Do you want to tell us a little bit more, Zoe? And I'm so glad to have bumped into you at Medicine when I popped in to see. I went to see if I could find you, and there you just walked past me straight away when I was there. It was great.
Love that connection. Well, it's so good to be here, Laura, and I love what you're doing. It's really fantastic, and I think that that so many people are sort of waking up right now, and we've been through a lot recently, and people are really waking up to connection with nature as being a salve and a balm for the soul and the spirit. And it definitely has been for me. I had a tricky sort of teens and early 20s, and I personally, nature is what healed me. And the deeper and deeper I got into it, the more that I healed. And so it's, it is my medicine, it's my everything. And I was quite long in the tooth when I finally got to the Amazon, but the Amazon was always a great dream of mine. Like, it came to me in dreams, and I was always felt very connected with it. And I think I was 32 when I first went there, and I've been working with the Amazon in some way ever since, and with nature, and spending time with the indigenous people in the forest. I thought I was connected with nature. I grew up in the country in England, but it's actually spending time with them and seeing the way that ceremony and ritual is woven into their daily lives in the forest really sort of deepened my connection and really woke me up. And then it broke my heart so enormously when I then saw the devastation, the damage that we in the Western world and sort of Northern Hemisphere wreak upon the natural world in the deforestation and oil drilling. And I mean, the stuff
you were talking about at Medicine was just incredibly unfair, that there could be years and years and years of fighting to get justice for so much damage done, and then yes, there is an order put for someone to pay back several £billion, is it 19 billion pounds, and not a penny has been paid back. So
and that was clean up. That was just, and that
I didn't say the company's name.
No. That was just to clean up the physical mess that they've left. That wasn't even to look after the people that they'd damaged, and many had died, many had been terribly sick. But so that's why I'm super excited about the Stop Ecocide campaign, and having a law against ecocide. And ecocide is the wanton killing of or destruction of large areas of nature, and having that be included in the International Criminal Court along with genocide. So if a company goes in knowing it's going to do that, knowing there's a high likelihood of that damage being done, they can be held accountable. And this has never happened, and it's so important and so vital. So I'm super passionate about that, because I think that if you see a river being polluted, if you see whatever it is that moves you deeply in nature, we need a law to protect Mother Earth. And so I'm super excited about that. And then I'm also working with the Sacred Headwaters project, which is a beautiful project. It's a binational project between Ecuador and Peru, and hugely supported by wonderful NGOs like Pachamama Alliance and Amazon Watch. And it's spearheaded by the indigenous leaders of that region, saying, and it's going across national lines of indigenous nations as well as Ecuador-Peruvian lines, and they're all coming together to protect the sacred headwaters of the Amazon region. So not only is it nature, but it's the sacredness of nature, and all that area is so woven with spirits and mystery, and so it's a really powerful sort of organization to be involved in, to sort of, if you protect that region, then that sort of hopefully you can keep it clean right down into the whole Amazon basin, because we see what a terrible mess is going on there. Right?
They must be so grateful to have someone. We're quite similar in the speed at which we talk and stuff as well. It's so much energy, but they must be so lucky to have someone who is so energetic, and you can obviously make things happen fast, because your brain's moving fast, and you're very passionate and creative thinking about these things. How can anyone else help you and help Ecocide and your other projects move ahead?
I mean, I think Thank you for that. I feel so lucky to be working with them. I can't tell you. I feel very, very lucky. So the way to get involved, I mean, you can look up the Sacred Headwaters Project online. You can look up Ecocide. You can become an earth protector. You can obviously donate is great, but get involved, write letters. But also, I think just find your own connection with nature. Like, what is it that you are really passionate about? And, it could be anything from cleaning up parks to, the beach could be a thing. But it's like, how can, what is it you're passionate about? And how can you deepen that connection with that part of nature that you're particularly passionate about?
Walk the talk, as well as just sign the petition.
It can be anything. I mean, I think, one thing I really learned a lot about in the forest was the power of ritual and the power of ceremony. And, you can turn the most mundane of tasks into a ritual and ceremony. And that's what brings the sacred into daily life. So even it could be watering your plants, but you do that with presence, and you do it, you look for that little connection with that one pot plant if you live in the city, or you go and, my sort of one thing that I like to do is connect with nature wherever I can. So whether it be a tree, whether it be a park, I will take my shoes off whenever I can, have my bare feet on the earth. We know that, scientists have now been looking into this and how it sort of calms your nervous system. If I can get into a natural body of water, I'll be right in there, particularly in the middle of winter. It really, it really works to calm the vagus nerve. And as you noted, I'm quite energized and it's like what to ground, to to be earthed. I'll jump
so
out.
Although you've given us some of the ways that you sort of live your life as tips anyway, but what would you say? And I suppose that's all to do with attuning yourself with your thoughts and emotions and feelings, just so you can be grounded and be there and make sensible decisions. Like, if you're saying some wonderful things about your daughter and how she's actually started her life with the knowledge and the role modeling that you've given her from the beginning of her life, so she's already connected. But what would you say is, for anyone listening, that a tip that you'd say today that they might be able to say, or some words they might be able to say to themselves to take away, to relate to nature and to give themselves a kind of routine or a ritual of how they can move slightly towards being more attuned and feeling more whole every day?
Well, I mean, we were speaking before, and I, my little one who's just 4, she's
an amazing name,
Artemis. Yeah, she's the protector of the wilderness, she tells me. And so, she has a tree that's her tree, that's an oak tree that she chose. But I mean, I felt it when I was pregnant with her. I used to spend a lot of time sitting there and meditating, and so that's her tree. And we go and make offerings. She'll take little, bits of chocolate, bits of honey, bits of dates, and tobacco, the traditional things that offerings are made of, a rose petal. And we will go and, we'll do these little offerings we make as well. We love to make nature sort of mandalas. So if we're out in nature, when she's wanting to walk very slowly and I'm wanting to walk faster, then I sort of slow down and we'll find, different shaped leaves and different, snails. And then we'll pause and we'll make these beautiful little nature mandalas on the ground, just nature art. And, really spend that time sort of slowing down and connecting with the earth. And, Artemis, whenever she sees a picture of earth, she'll be like, Mama, it's Mother Earth, it's our home. And she feels such love and connection for it. And I think that's the thing to always remember, that, when we're in that stress state, we are always on Mother Earth, we are always on our home. And it's like, even if you're in a busy, in a tube station in London, you're like, oh God, it's like, just breathe and just like, just pause, take that sacred pause, and imagine your feet and the energy going down through the concrete, down through the tubes, through the sewers, down into Mother Earth, into nature. It's there, it's home. She's around us at all times. And we just try and spend as much time out there as we can. That's what, lying on the earth, definitely
lying on the earth as well. I love it that she's sort of thinking so much about about being at home. And and I think so much problems come from people feeling disconnected from other people, but just get disconnected from the home. And I've certainly had it myself, like not being in the right place, not living in the right place, or being uprooted, or actually we had an awful situation when Tay was really young. She was 2. We literally had to we were, the family split up, and it was just awful. And so housing can really affect people. But, you know, the sort of the beauty of having a deep connection like you've cultivated, you know, to help yourself as well, and you're cultivating with your daughter, is it gives you a home anyway, whether you are in the wrong place or even if you're transitioning. But if you don't cultivate this connection and attune yourself, you might find yourselves in situations where it's so uncomfortable and scary, and then it brings up, you know, horrible feelings if you don't have anything to pull yourself back to. And I just think so sweet that you've got this like ritual of going to the tree.
Yeah, and you can do that. I mean, like I said, with a pot plant, with it, you know, just I'm so lucky because I choose to live surrounded by nature, you know, as much as I can. And I'm so lucky and privileged to be able to do that. But you know, you can find that connection with, you know, any, you know, any plant, you know, any little leaf, you know, have a little chat with it. You know, I remember as a child, it came out in the media that crazy Prince Charles spoke to his plants, and it's like, and everyone's like, oh golly. Now we're like, yes, of course you speak to your plants. Scientists have now proven that it makes them grow more, and it makes you feel calmer, and it reduces anxiety and helps with depression, because that feeling of, you know, and I've been very, very nomadic a lot before I had Artemis, and, you know, and it is a little bit wobbling, but then you have to find that inner grounding and that inner connection. And, you know, even if you just go up to a tree and put your hands on it and just breathe and just think of the length of time that tree has stood the test of time, and it's, you know, and how deeply its roots go into the ground, and it just take 2 seconds. You may look a little odd, doesn't really matter, just breathe it in, you know, and it just grounds you right away. And I think also walking in nature, just like, even if it's 5 minutes. No, I think so many of these practices, like, you've got to do an hour of this, an hour of that. It's like, you know, just 5 minutes, just a sacred moment of consciousness and connection with nature. And it can be like, you just look at you know, you could be driving along and you can see the way that the light comes through the weeds on the edge of the road, and just like, and just, you know, just acknowledge it, and that feeling of oneness and connection.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, it gives you a sense of like control and belonging. It's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
So where is Artemis now, and what's her plan? She's going to take you to the tree later?
Yeah, she will be taking me to the tree later. She's at Forest Nursery right now, lighting fires, which is great. They're like, we're lighting fires. I'm like, fantastic. So she's
brilliant. Yeah. Well, that's lovely. I love your tip. Anyone can have an altar, even if it's a photo of thinking of themselves and saying, we're at home. And, you know, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. And so, in a nutshell, how would you say, like, because I'm really interested in how it's the same, I think, with lots of people, but how similar it is that we sort of rush through you know, our childhood, our upbringing, and then suddenly realize that we've actually managed to cope because we're nature lovers, and then going, right, I really need to lean into this because. So how would you describe, you know, what nature's done for your mental and physical health in a nutshell?
I mean, in a nutshell, not to be extreme, I wouldn't be alive today if it was not for nature.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't. You know, it's been my medicine on so many levels, and it has held me when I've, you know, felt totally lost, and it's grounded me, and it's constant, and it's steady, and it's ancient, and, you know, and it connects us all. And yeah, it's everything to me, and I think it's everything to all of us. And when I woke up to that, I looked in many other places for connection that were not very healthy, and you know, and but I was lucky. I grew up in the countryside, so I always,
it was on your doorstep. It was always there.
Yeah. And so it seeped in anyway. And I think that's the thing. Nature is always there for us. You know, we may turn aside and we may, you know, go and do other things, but, you know, when we want to, you know, it's there everywhere, and we can find it anywhere. You know, in a grain of sand. It's like, you know, it is all around.
Inside us, isn't it? That's beautiful. Oh, I'm really looking forward to talking to you more. And it's lucky that you're actually just only down the road from us. So I hope to see you soon and meet Artemis when she's not running after her mum who's speaking at a festival.
That'd be wonderful.
Lovely talking to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Lara. Thanks so much.
Take care. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you for listening to Botanic Shed. We're here to help you build vitality and resilience by building a deeper connection with nature. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, at Botanic Shed, and at www.botanicshed.com. My email is hello@botanicshed.com. And if you'd like to speak to any of these people I've interviewed, or if you'd like to join us on the show, do get in touch. Thanks. Bye.